G'day everybody watching at home and welcome to another night of action-packed racing. We are coming to you from Canada at Montreal for the Racecraft Simulations Montreal 100 for the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series. Alongside me in the commentary booth tonight, I've got Aidan Schultz, good friend of mine, mate. How you been, mate?
Mate, sensational, Matt. Thank you for having me again in the commentary booth. Looking forward to an amazing night tonight after the last couple of rounds we've had here in the old cold Montreal, Canada.
Yeah, it is a little bit cold. It's definitely fresh out on track at the moment. It's about 7:30 if my times are correct. So nice track temperature out there with about 26 degrees. So must have been a warm night there overnight. But boys are out in qualifying at the moment. A few good times already posted up, mate. We've got Daniel Stevens out on top at the moment with a 136.6, followed up by the young Dylan Pereira, or should I say not the young, but the rookie Dylan Pereira, with just behind him with a 36.7, and then Matty Scholes with a 36.7 as well. So already tight up at the top of the field there, Aidan. What are your thoughts on tonight, mate? What are you looking forward to the most?
Just the racing, to be honest, Matt. The way that these guys have held themselves in this series so far has been amazing. As we see again at the top, the times are really tight. There's a couple of new names up there at the top, and in practice, in qualifying rather, at the moment, there's a couple of the guys that are up the top of the championship, which are not quite there at the moment. So just the quality of racing and seeing how these guys transition it into a race is going to be good again. It's a really great series. These guys have put on a really good show for the viewers and the sponsors. So just really excited to be able to commentate this and see what happens in the race.
Now, mate, you mentioned a few of our top runners from last week, and obviously our top championship runners. They're a little bit down the field. We've got Mr. Sam Noble, our championship leader, is currently down in 5th position. Daryl Hockey, our race winner last week from Middle Finger Racing, he is all the way down in 19th position. So not a great qualifying session for him, Aidan.
Yeah, Matt, no, it's not. But some tracks suit some people and some don't. So, you know, it's not always about qualifying. Yes, track position is key, but we know in these races that anything can happen. So I'm sure he's not too concerned this early. He's just getting a feel for that car and seeing what his race car's like. It is unfortunate that he's down there. I'm sure he's not happy with it, but we'll see how he goes in the race.
Now, we just saw our track map pop up on the screen briefly, so we'll stay with that, guys. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal, Canada. We've got 4.36 kilometers around this beautiful circuit. That equates to 23 laps tonight, 100 kilometers in distance. The boys are restricted to 58 litres of fuel tonight, Aidan, with one pit stop and an average fuel burn of around 3.8 litres. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depending on how hard these boys want to push it. So tyre strategy and fuel strategy may come into play later on in the race, mate.
Yeah, and if we go and look at the air temp, it's only 26 degrees Celsius and 27 degree track temp. So there's a lot of change of direction in this track, which usually would heat up those tyres. So 27 degree track temp, they'll probably be able to push it a little bit longer, and it's probably going to be a little bit who wants to run longer and who wants to go and look at the undercut and go, okay, am I going to be able to run longer? So again, it's about that tyre strategy and being able to save those tyres, but it'll be interesting to see, and you, to be honest, Matt, would be a really good one to be able to have an opinion on this, is how that will actually work the tyres with a lower track temp and whether it has tyre deg after your run last night.
Yeah, look, before we get to that, guys, I've just noticed on the pictures, being so early in the morning here out at Montreal, that the guys coming down into the hard braking zones, have a look at those brake rotors glowing absolutely red hot. These boys are pushing the cars to the limits as they are throwing them around this track at the moment. So, but back to what you were saying, Aidan. Yeah, last night I was here for the Nationwide Tracking Systems V8 SuperSeries. Had a good finishing up in 4th, so absolutely stoked with that one. Obviously coming in tonight on a high in the booth, so expect a bit of yelling tonight, mate. But with tyre degradation here, surprisingly, Montreal, it is a grippy track, but once the temps start to get up, you think 26, you know, oh, yep, nah, she's a cold track. It actually isn't. It's 26 degrees around here, actually makes the cars move around the lot. What I class as cold is around 19 degrees, so nearly 10 degrees cooler. The cars really grip up. They really want to get into the corners and turn and get down on the power, especially coming out of the chicane here onto Casino Straight, where you want to really lay that power down. You're in first gear, you're quickly short shifting to second. It likes to excite the rear tyres around here. So tyre degradation is big when you're pushing the car to its absolute limits. But I'm sure during the race, the boys will want to manage that. Try and make the tyres last as long as they can. Try and stretch it out so they don't have to manage them too much later on in their stint, and they can still punch out some fairly quick lap times.
Yeah, and that's really good for the viewers to hear that, because I'm here as a commentator, and to be honest, I don't run a lot of V8 supercars around stuff. So, yes, I know about racing, but I think that's a cool track temp. But to be able to hear a driver of your caliber to be able to say what it's doing, it's really good for the viewers to be able to actually understand what those cars are going to do. They're going to have to understand how the car's going to perform, whether it's early in the stint or late in the stint. And yeah, that was really good from you, Matt, to give them a real life view of what it's like as a driver to be able to run around here at Montreal.
That's what I'm in the booth for, mate. That's what I'm here for, to give everybody at home a quick insight of what it's like to get around circuits such as Montreal. Now, we'll check up on our championship standings, the official championship points after last round at Oran Park. We've got Sam Noble out in front with a very close Daryl Hockey behind him. So we've got Sam Noble on 429 points, followed up by 425 points from Daryl Hockey. And not far behind him, a further 4 points down, is Matty Scholes. So closing right up on the top three here, Aiden. We've got Dean Alessi down in fourth with 407 points. We got Nicky G, good mate, who's also race control for the SuperSeries. He's down in fifth with 407, so it's a tie for fourth and fifth there. Dan Stevens, Kai Turner, they're tied for sixth. We've got Trent McCarthy down in eighth with 398. Jonathan Ben with 388 points. Watch out, he is jumping in the commentary booth a little bit later on, not long, actually a couple minutes, I believe, for a hot lap. Tony Gaffer with 382 points. We'll scroll on to the next page quickly and just give the viewers the top 20 here. We've got David Nash, Shane Clark, the young Rehan Leonash. Happy birthday for yesterday, mate. Hope it was good. Let's hope you can convert that into a podium, if not a race win tonight, mate. That'd be fantastic. We've got Damien Cairns, Aaron Hayden, Max Losh, Paul Gerlin, Peter Latham, Robert Braw, and Cole Booth. Now, the man of the hour who is going to be taking us on a flying lap around Montreal here at this time of the morning is in the booth with us, Jonathan Ben. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks, guys.
That's the way, mate. You're currently sitting down in 23rd position. Not where you want to be at the moment, mate. Track's not coming to you, is it?
Yeah, look, I love this track. It's one of those ones where there's a few points you got to be patient, but I have a system how I get my laps down. I sort of work on sectors, and then I try and piece it all together, and my Opti it's up there. I just can't seem to stitch everything together on the same lap at the moment, and that's indicative of the curbs here as well. You've got to hit enough curb.
Yeah, slowdowns are a big play around here, mate. I did find that out last night. I caught one myself and just been a little bit too greedy coming into the Wall of Champions. So, bit of traffic out in front of you, mate. So hopefully you can get some clear track here. But how key are slowdowns around here? How much do they affect you?
They're massive. How you bleed a slowdown off really does change a lot of things. It can make or break what's going on. But the curbs here, you can be consistent and miss them, or you can hit enough. If you don't take enough curb, it's a slow and it launches you. If you take just enough, it's right. If you take a millimeter too much, it's 3, 4, 5 second slowdown, which just murders it.
And John,
well, you're coming into the Wall of Champions here, mate. Sorry, Adam, to cut you off. I'll let you have the floor, mate, and take us for a run and a talk through of what it's like to go around Montreal flat out.
No worries. Hopefully I don't slip off the button here because I haven't set any push to talk. So you're right on the edge, back to first, sort of keep it in tight. I love the exit here, short shifting, just controlling the wheel spin because of all the bumps. And then into this second chicane, bit of a gimme on the curbs here. You can take a fair bit, but it does kick the car. So again, get your drive out, hug this tight, and try and hold it blind into another really tight braking zone. And again, the way out of this corner here, I short shift and just control the wheel spin through. Keep that sector time going green. You get to have a bit of a breath here before one of the more challenging curbs to get right. On the right-hand side, take a fair bit of it. Again, launches the car. Then try and get it down with the wheels planted.
Oh, how's the car control on the jump?
Then a big squirrel moment coming up here under brakes. Trying to get it pulled up, get around this nice tight pin. Always great in traffic, this corner. And then it's just the battle to get onto full throttle as soon as possible out of here. The sooner you're on full throttle, the sooner you're down this straight and making good time. And this is the biggest slowdown killer on this track, this last turn. You've got to get it right, or you're getting a big slowdown or a big wall hit. So,
mate, that is unbelievable to be able to do that. I did one last night as you almost brushed a tyre barrier coming onto the Wall of Champions there, mate. That was millimetre perfect. Guys, that was Jonathan Bent around Montreal. Now, while we've still got you up here, mate, obviously everyone's going to be wondering, how big are the slowdowns around through the chicanes there?
it depends on how much you cut it. If you straight line the last one, it can be up to 7 seconds on a normal lap. First lap, I've noticed your slowdowns are always a bit more brutal, so it's really important here to be respectful and give racing room on lap 1, and after that you can dogfight it out a bit.
Well, mate, we'll let you get back into qualifying, and let's see if you can make up a few spots from 22nd position. Godspeed tonight, mate, and all the best.
Thanks, guys, and cheers for the broadcast and JP and that. It's love the series and happy to be here.
No worries, mate. Thank you, Aiden. There's a flying lap around there. It's wild. It's definitely wild, isn't it?
Definitely wild. How good was those launches off the curbs and that car control? Like, that just goes to show that it's not that simple to drive these cars around any track, let alone this one. So to be able to have that car on 2 wheels and to be able to wait for it to get on 4 before you get on the gas, let alone have the change of direction, it just goes to show the viewers that what these guys go through at every lap. It's not just one lap, and in a race sense, it's every lap. So it's very, very good to be able to show the viewers what it's like from the driver's view.
Yeah, it's definitely full commitment around here, mate. But again, another round of the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series, if I get my words out correctly. They wouldn't be possible without our sponsors, mate. So who are they and what do they do?
Yeah, I'll run through the first couple, Matt, and you finish it off. But obviously, first of all, we need to thank SimShed Broadcasting because without them broadcasting, no one would be watching this. So that is number one in regards to a broadcast sense. We've got Coghlan Engineering, the co-sponsors of Blue Stampede Labour Hire and Abruzzi Raceware. Of course, NTS tracking systems and track cams. They and also Goodyear Autocare Warana as the main sponsor for it. So without those guys, we don't go racing.
That's it, mate. And obviously, all these pictures are brought, or should I say, not the pictures, but the overlays that you're seeing tonight, guys. The timing tower, the safety car lights, the qualifying boxes, even the battle boxes that you're going to be seeing through the race. They're all brought to you by SDK Gaming, and boy, have they nailed these overlays, mate.
They have. I know SimShed Broadcasting and JP have done a lot of work with these overlays lately and trying to enhance these, and they've just become absolutely amazing. It's great for the viewers, and it's amazing to see what they're doing. So they're always trying to make the content better for the viewers, and hopefully you guys at home are watching this and seeing the content and liking what you're seeing. So get on and like these guys' pages, get on and like their websites, go and support them. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, if they were not a part of it, you would not be watching this content.
That's exactly right, mate. We're just coming up to the end of qualifying here, guys. Got about 3.5 minutes to go. The biggest, I've just got a bit of word in my back of my ear. Sorry, what was that, JP?
Yeah, we got a new leader here, Matt.
Leader, Aiden. So we've got Shane Clark, the number 888 from, if I just quickly hover over his name, from Melbourne Hydrographics Depot. They were the round sponsors for last round, round 3 at Oran Park. He has found some pace in that ZB Commodore Supercar, so he's managed to put the 888 up there on the top of the timing tower. But a big one up there, mate, is the rookie, the newbie to the series and this season, Dylan Pereira in the 61. He's only just started with iRacing, as we mentioned last week. Had a little bit of an upsetting moment. He overtook some cars under yellow, so obviously got a drive-through penalty, which dropped him all the way back through the field. And you know what it's like when you get a drive-through at Oran Park. It really does drop you to the back of the field. He's up there in third. He's having an absolute perler of a session.
He is having a perler of a session, but that doesn't surprise me, to be honest, because last week at Oran Park, he was on for a really good result until that unfortunate incident, and we were talking about him all race and what he was going to do, and unfortunately he wasn't able to convert that, but he's showing that he's got really raw car pace, so hopefully tonight he can convert that into a race. We both know as racers ourselves that it's okay to be fast, but you need to be able to convert it. So last week we were talking about him all night, and we thought he was on for a podium, and unfortunately that didn't eventuate. He's put his car in a good position at the start of this one. Let's see if he's learnt something from last week to be able to convert it into a good result.
We've got Matty Scholes just hugging the inside of the track here. I wonder if he's just trying to find a little bit of clean road or even wait up for a teammate here. We've got 20-kilometre southerly winds tonight, guys. So they're blowing straight down the guts of Casino Straight into the head, or should I say the front of these cars. So really affecting the straight line speed. So the boys are...
Sorry, Matt. Sorry to cut you off, mate.
That's all right.
Oh, no, that's all right. Sorry, I'm just reading something and I think I misinterpreted it, so sorry to cut you off, mate. You keep going.
That's all right. So as I was saying, mate, we've got 20k an hour winds, so straight down the guts of Casino Straight. So the boys you'll be seeing them going 2 up around the track here, guys. So just watch that, because they'll be getting a slipstream coming down Casino Straight and the front straight as well. So a little bit of a tailwind going around the back, but the front, the main Casino Straight, you're going to be dropping about 1/10 of a second with an inner headwind, possibly 2/10 if you don't get the run out of the final chicane. So that really plays a part. If you can get tucked up right under the wing of your teammate and really get moving, you could see a few times change on the top of the leaderboard, Aiden.
Yeah, 100%, Matt. I'm just looking at the timing at the moment. I think we're 13 seconds left in qualifying. I think it's pretty stagnant in the moment of where we're going to see the cars line up in qualifying, because there's no one really out there that I can see that's really going to jump the timesheet just looking. So I think we're pretty much set in qualifying now, and now qualifying's over. So yeah, this is where we're going to start the race, and really good lap by Shane Clark at the moment. It looks like he's going to be setting that car off pole. And again, as you said, Dylan Pereira out of third. That's a really good lap. And Daniel Stevens, the usual player, he's there in second. So it looks like we've got our grid set for tonight's race.
Yeah, Dan Stevens, the usual player, who's always up in the top of the mix with the guys up front. He's up there in second. Same with Kai Turner, Matty Scholes, Sam Noble down in 7th now. He's dropped a few places throughout the session, so bit of movement throughout, but it's been pretty stagnant in the past couple minutes. So the boys are obviously not gelling with the track, or the track's heating up. We don't exactly know, but few of them now starting to pile in the pits. So that means it is almost race time. And have all of that. The sun is rising over Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
How beautiful is that view,
Round
Matt?
4 of the Racecraft Simulations Montreal 100. Mate, before we get to the grid and they start gridding up, who you got money on tonight? Who do you want to be driver of the night?
I think after looking at consistency and everything, I'm on Sam Noble. Yes, he is leading the championship, and that's not the reason why I think he's going to be the driver of the night. I've got that purely because of his racecraft and what he's done to be able to be leading the championship. He hasn't won every race, but he's always converted a race to have a result, whether it be in the top 3 or the top 5 or even top 10. So my bet would be on Sam Noble to have the run of the race, to be honest.
That is interesting, mate. He did have a good outing last. No, he didn't have too good of an outing last week. If my memory serves me correct, you might be able to adjust me on that one and correct me. But I believe he didn't have too great of an outing last week. We had a middle finger racing lockout with Daryl Hockey, the race winner. So he's all the way down the field at the moment with not a great result. But I'd have to say, mate, my money tonight. It's very undecided, but I'm going to go big, and I'm going to go with the rookie Dylan Pereira. It was with Rehan, but unfortunately, I've got to go with Dylan, mate. He's got a good time up there, but we've got cars gridding up on field, mate. We'll
Look,
get
Matt,
to
any one of those guys that you would have chose, anyone in the top 15, to be honest, would have been a good choice. So it's really a lottery ticket at the moment. So
That's it.
We're just going from what we see. So yeah, we'll see how we go tonight. It's going to be very interesting.
That's it. So we got on the front row, Shane Clark, Dan Stevens. Row 2, we've got Kai Turner, Dylan Pereira. Matty Scholes, Dean Reddit lead row 3 off the line there. Row 4, we got Sam Noble and Nicky G. Trent McCarthy, Daryl Hockey on row 5. Tony Gaffer, David Nash on row 6. Aiden?
Row 7 is young Rianne Leonage and Aaron Riccanello, followed by Mitch Campbell and Craig Casper in row 8. Row 9 is Dean Alessi and Stephen Martin. Followed by 19th is Damien Cairns and Philip Dalton. 21 is Jonathan Bain. Aaron Hayden is in 22nd. Danny Vassell is in 23rd. And Colin Burns is in 24th. Matt?
Leading us off row 13, we've got Dylan Lagarde from E1 Sim Sports. Hasn't been too great on the track lately, so let's see if he can make a few moves tonight. Behind him's Robert Braw, Stephen Black from E1 Sim Sports as well, and Peter Latham on row 14. Andrew Johnson, another E1 Sim Sports driver. They're all bunched up together at the back. He's up there with Max Losh on row 15. We've got Luke Georgeson, Craig Gurry on row 16. Row 17, we've got Thomas Foster, Robbie Bradbury, and Todd Martin rounding out the field. Revs are rising. The lights are on. The Racecraft Simulations Montreal 100 is a go. Amazing start by our pole sitter, Shane Clark. Bit of a poor start there by second place. I believe that was Mr. Stevens. As they come through turn 1, turn through 2, looks like they all got through pretty clean. A little bit of push and shove, few cars around in the background. Coming up into turn 3, Kai Turner all over the back of Shane Clark. Get the power down, jump the curves, settle into formation. Kai Turner putting the pressure on Shane Clark, and we are only 4 turns into the race. Has a quick look up the inside. Oh, nice and close. Short shift into third, get the power down. Really putting pressure on Shane now. Little bit of a wiggle, coming up the inside, side by side. It's a drag race in the second lot of chicanes. Does he get the move done? Kai Turner up the inside, turns it in. Does he run wide? Yes, he does. Does he cop the slowdown? We're not sure. He's still on the race here. He's still full pace. So here's the way. Shane Clark manages to hold off Kai Turner. Matty Scholes not far behind him. Followed up by Dean Reddit. Hard on the brakes into the chicane. Kai Turner with a wiggle in the back end locks it up. He loses mammoth positions. 4, 5, 6 spots there. Shane Clark out of the hairpin, up the main straight. Bit of a drag race behind, 2, 3 wide. Down Casino Straight they go for the first time, into the Wall of Champions.
Yeah, and I think we just found something there. Kai Turner just tried to send it a little bit too hard too early. It's a long, decent race, and he just really wanted that first.
Oh, Kai ran in the back of the field on the Wall of Champions.
I think that might be Kai Turner again.
On my screen, I saw the young rookie, Mr. Pereira, getting spun as well. We'll see if we can catch a quick replay of that one. Dylan Pereira, hard down on the brakes, into the Wall of Champions. Jump, jump. Oh, just had nowhere to go and gets punted in the rear. Unfortunate for him.
Very unfortunate, and that's what I said earlier in the broadcast. Is a very quick driver. He just needs to learn how to settle that down and transition it into a race performance, because he's always been at the front since last week and then this week, and now unfortunately he's been caught up in an accident again, which we all know how that feels.
Unfortunate. Let's hope he can get that back to the pits, get it repaired, get back out on track and make up some positions. Quick run through the field as we go 2 wide into the second lot of chicanes. Young Rehan up on the inside. Does he make it stick on the RC? Yes, he does. Makes him run wide through the chicane there. Awesome move by the young Rehan Linage, who celebrated his 11th birthday yesterday. So happy birthday, mate. Quick run through the field. We have Shane Clark, your leader, over Matty Scholes, Sam Noble, Dean Reddit down in 4th, Nicky G up in 5th there. He's had a good start, mate, up 3 positions. Daryl Hockey, our race winner from last week, as we get a drive through for car 588. Obviously, car contact on that one. Our race winner, Daryl Hockey in 6th, Tony Gaffer, Dan Stevens, Trent McCarthy, and Mitch Campbell rounds out your top 10. So Shane Clark has pulled out about a half a second lead over Matty Scholes here. Amazing start by him, Aiden. Amazing
start, but I think the story of the race so far for me is how hard they raced so early in that first 2 laps. A lot of guys, I wouldn't say ruined their race, but they made a few like changes or whatever to be able to make a move for the lead or a move for position where maybe they shouldn't have. So that's the good thing about this series. They're going to learn about that and be able to go back and reflect about it. But how hard they raced on especially such a technical track, I was really surprised. I thought they would have sit in and gone a little bit line astern for a little bit and just seen what the cars did in front of them. But they were racing at the front. They won the race, and at the end of the day, that creates a spectacle. So let's go racing, boys.
Mate, it is only lap 3, and they're punching out laps like it's lap 23. It's beyond a joke. So these guys are really, really pushing hard as we're on board here with Dave and Ashes. He has a look up on Rehan.
Rehan's gone around. No, he's held it.
Awesome save by the young Leonage there.
And that's exactly what I was talking about, Matt. They're all going for it, and now we're going to see the replay. You talk them through it, Matt.
Yeah, obviously, young Rehan, he obviously held his track position just here, coming into the chicane. A little bit after this, it happens. David Nash all over the back of Rehan. He obviously got the better drive out of that chicane. It's a very umming and ahhing situation out of there. You can either have it full beans or not. Just missed his brake marker. Only by a metre. It's not much. Half a metre he would have missed it by. And luckily for him, he only gave Rehan just a little bit of a love tap. So just enough to put him off his line and send Rehan into a slide. But enough for Rehan to save it. So awesome driving by the youngster right there to be able to save something like that. I know I wouldn't have been able to. I probably would have gone around. So sensational driving by him as we're on screen here with Sam Noble as 588 drive-through penalty. Is that a second one or was that from before? That is the question. Did he get 2 in the 1 lap? Sam Noble, third place. Aiden?
Did you just say 588, Matt? Did you?
I believe so, mate. I
Oh.
believe that's what came up on my screen. So, I mean, I could have fumbled my words and possibly messed that up, but 588, if that serves me correct, that is Craig Casper, who's currently sitting down in last position from the Goodyear Autocare Warana entry.
Well, that's really unfortunate for Craig. It'll be interesting to see what that's from, but we'll drag race control up shortly, and obviously they'll be able to explain that to the viewers. So we'll see what they do.
That's it. And by the looks of it, guys, our top 5 are starting to check out from the field here. We've got Shane Clark still in the lead. Not comfortably though. Matty Scholes breathing down his neck. Only, 0.3 of a second, 0.4 of a second. As I say that, Scholes, he must have had a slide because he's just dropped out to 0.5, half a second there. So he's still breathing down the neck. As we're on screen there with Dan Stevens, on screen now with Dean Reddit in 4th position. This is the leading battle. All close, all in each other's rear view mirrors. Not much separating them at all. There'd be hardly a breath in it. These boys are racing and racing for the win already. Aiden?
Yeah, and we just need to keep an eye on Nicky G, our mate Nicky G in 5th. Last lap he was 0.4 quicker than Dean Breddett. He did a 37.78 and Dean did a 138.2. So the more these guys, as we're seeing...
He makes it stick. That is a spectacular move. Spectacular move by Nicky G. Sorry, Aiden.
No, you're right, mate. You're right, mate. But the more we see these guys fight at the front, and Nicky G just made that move, like I said. So obviously he had a bit of pace there and got up to him. But it's going to be important for these guys to not race too hard against each other. And for the next, I'd say, 10 laps, maybe just sit in and create that gap and race against each other at the end. Because the more they race against each other now, they're going to have the rest of the field draw up on the back of them. So now's the time to play smart racing and not race for the win now, race to be able to be in the position to get the win later.
That's it, mate. And track position is everything around Montreal, guys. One thing I am going to bring up with you, Aiden, though, is overtaking here. Now, we've already seen a couple small ones, a couple very, very brave overtakes coming into turn 8 and 9 there into the chicane. Now, mate, I'm not sure if you've done any laps around here, but it is very limited. You've only got turn 1, which you've really got to commit for. You're unloading the car on the right inside right front there, so it tends to lock up. Into turn 8 here and 9, very hard to do. You've got to wash off a lot of speed, so it sacrifices your exit speed coming out of it if you want to run too wide through there. And obviously down into the hairpin here, one of the key spots. Oh, Nicky G up on the inside has a look up on the inside of Mr. Sam Noble from the 9.5 Sim Sports entry, all over the back of him as they come down Casino Straight. Aiden, I'll get back to you. We'll just watch the action here. See how Nicky G goes. He's wrapped up right under the wing. Noble really defending that line as we go for a driver's point of view as they jump the curbs, and boy, does that car lift, Aiden.
Yeah, 100%. And going back to what you're saying, this is a perfect example of it. My answer to your question in a passing point would be definitely into the hairpin. That's 100% a passing point.
And by the looks of it, into turn 1 as Nicky G takes 3rd position away from Sam Noble. What a spectacular move. As we bring you a sim snapshot replay of this overtake, as we've got Daryl Hockey on screen. Here we go. Nicky G around the outside. Sam Noble, bit of a slide into turn 1, and Nicky G, mate, just puts the power on and says, thanks for that, mate. Thanks for making the mistake. I'm taking this position, and I'm now checking out from you.
Yeah, that was a great move by Nicky G. Positioned car well and gave Sam no option to position the car on the inside, so he had nowhere to go, so he had to... he's got to slow down.
Oh, Nicky G's just copped the slowdown. He's done all the work to get up into third position, and it's all gone within a matter of milliseconds. And that's all it is, Aiden. Literally brushed the curb by a millimeter too much, and it's a 3-second slowdown, sometimes more, as Jonathan Ben described.
Yeah, definitely. But going back, Matt, to what you said, with those passing points, definitely into the hairpin, but I think a lot of time can be gained here with the change of direction. So a lot of guys are going to drive it hard into the... There's a lot of right lefts in this, so to be able to position your car when someone's driving in harder to be able to get the drive out, the best thing to be able to make a pass. So it's okay to be able to have your car in a position to make the pass, but coming out of the corner, you need to get that drive and just slowly modulate that pedal, because the guy in front of you is always going to want to try and drive it too harder. So positioning that car and slowly powering it out, and to be able to position the car to get the drive out, to position yourself into those hairpins and stuff like that. So through those change of directions, I think you can make a lot of time.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Now, we're obviously coming up onto the key part of the race here. We're coming up to the pit stop window that these guys are going to be making. We've got 3.8 litres of fuel burn a lap around here. I think the starting tank was 57 litres, if I am correct. So, just having a quick look, 58 litres, sorry. So, if I just quickly punch that into the old calculator, divide that by 3.8. You're looking at 15
Is that the
laps.
technical term, Matt? The calculator? Is that the
the
technical
calculator? Yeah, it sort of helps me add up everything. So as we've got Nicky G having a look up the inside of Mr. Dean Reddit there in the hairpins. So 3-way drag race back to back the whole way down Casino Straight here. But getting back to fuel window, mate, they're not far off. So do you pit early as Nicky G makes the move on Dean Reddit for 4th position? Do you make the move early, sort of try and set the pace and set the pits for the other blokes, or do you try and run it to the smell of an oily rag around here?
To be honest, Matt, as I've said in the previous broadcast we've done, I think it's all to do with track position. So if you're at the front at the moment, you want to keep staying at the front, react to the guys behind you if you have to. Otherwise, just keep running and doing what you're doing. If you are outside the top 10, it might be worth taking the gamble, but if you're at the front, you're just going to react to the guys behind you. If they go in early, you react to them, and you just off play what they're going to do.
Just got word we're having a go into a sim snapshot replay here. Dylan Pereira, what has happened? It is not going well for the rookie tonight. Overcooks it into turn 1 and around he goes. Oh, does he wait for clear track? Gets it out of the way nice and quickly. Good bit of driving there to get it out of the way. A little bit unfortunate for young Pereira. I completely forgot what I was going to say. That's right. We're talking about pits. What I was going to mention, mate, is the pit lane entry around here, as we've got Jonathan Ben having a look up the inside of young Rehan Leonage there. Do they go 2 side by side down Casino Straight, or does he tuck in? You'll see it here, mate. We'll come down your flat stick. You're doing 260, 270 down Casino Straight here. And if you have a look on the right-hand side, that second brake marker there is actually the brake marker for your pit entry. So the boys are breaking up under the Dodge Bridge there. And you're looking at an extra... 2 boards away. So what's that? Call it 50 meters. You're looking at an extra 50 meters down the track is your brake marker for the pit lane entry. So that's going to be a big point for tonight. You don't want to get caught up behind one of the blokes in front of you. If you're going pit lane and he smashes on the brakes, 9 times out of 10, if you're not expecting it, you're going straight up the back of him, and there's not enough time to react, get the car straightened up, and jump back on the brakes.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think with the guys at the front here, you need to put your car in a position to be able to do that into the pits, to be able to make that mistake going in the pits. If the guy in front of you...
Shane Clark has just gone around on my screen. So Sam Noble is our new leader. I wonder if we can get a replay of what happened on that one. Sorry to cut you off there, mate. I just saw it on my screen as a spin out. Not sure exactly what happened. Was it his own doing? By the looks of it, it was. He's come in a little bit too hot. Oh, he's clipped the grass. Oh, no, he just gets collected by Sam.
That's so unfortunate for Sam.
Unfortunate for both of them. So front splitter damage there on the 953 of Sam Noble. No, not the 953, sorry. The 605 of Matty Scholes. My apology. Matty Scholes did some damage. So here we go. We got pit lane activity. Sam Noble, Matty Scholes, Shane Clark, all into the pit on one another's bumper. So that puts Dean Reddit as our new race leader, followed up by Nicky G and Mr. Dan Stevens. And I've just got race control in my ear on the server. A few penalties being handed out. We'll try and get them into the booth as soon as possible to fill us in on what's happened. It is all starting to light up, mate. And it's only lap 11, so the boys are pitting early.
Yeah, they are, but they're probably pitting early just to try and get themselves out of all the stuff and get into a nice, clean run towards the end, to be honest. I know it's unlimited tyres, but they won't be pitting again because they're good for fuel. So some of these back runners might be okay if they can come in and pit and grab a couple of few positions there, but it is really surprising to be seeing them pit this early, to be honest.
As we get a drive-through penalty for car contact 33 on car 99. I believe that's how it's read. So another penalty being handed out as we've got Aaron Racanella out on screen. As we switch over to Peter Latham, the two middle finger racing boys putting big pressure on a Melbourne Hydrographics depot car as he clips the grass again and goes round. Was that Shane Clark? No, it wasn't Shane Clark. It is McCarthy. McCarthy goes round, clips the grass. It's easy to do there, Aiden. You're right out on the edge as Dean Reddick comes into the pits. And another drive-through penalty. There is drive-through penalty central tonight, Aiden.
Yeah, 100%. Like you mentioned earlier, that how awkward that transition is into pit lane. You mentioned that probably 5 minutes ago, not even that. They're coming from a very high speed down to a very low speed. So it doesn't surprise me that we're getting a few penalties to transition through pit lane, which is unfortunate for the drivers. I think it's more of them just settling down. Like the whole race has started and it's just been crazy. Everyone just driving really fast, real early, and they're pushing their car to the limit, trying to gain everything they can into pit lane. And sometimes that doesn't pay off for you. Sometimes you just need to settle down, have a calm head, hit your points, and go in. So we'll see how the pits transition and how it plays out when everything settles down, and see how they go.
That's it, mate. We got Dan Stevens out on screen. We just caught a quick glimpse before we had Dean Reddit, Pip, Sam Noble, Matty Scholes, and Nicky G and Shane Clark out of the pit. So he only had a very short pit stop. 14 seconds to 16 seconds to Sam Noble. So 2 seconds shorter, Aiden. That's a significant difference. That's a good probably 4 or 5 litres of fuel just there.
Yeah, definitely. And if they're coming out on the same lap, which they are, tyres aren't going to be a difference. So he's going to have to drive the wheels off this car to catch up. So that's a really, really... I don't know what happened in that pit stop there with him, but he's lost 2 seconds. So 2 seconds is a lot to catch up in a driving sense. So he's going to have to drive the wheels off it to catch up.
Well, Dean Reddit pitted a lap after, obviously, Noble, Scholes, Nicky G, and Mr. Clark. So
there's the 2 seconds then, so extra fuel.
Yeah, extra fuel. So might have saved a couple litres, but again, he is on fresher tyres. So you would have expected them, the boys, to try and get a good outlap in, as we've got more action on pit lane as Dan Stevens decides to stay out for another lap yet again. So he might be trying to do the long run here. He might be trying to get the overcut on all these boys and take on less fuel and try and get some quick lap times in. He's obviously feeling comfortable in the car. The car's looking stable out on track as it goes around the corners. Little bit of front end damage though, so that might affect some straight line speed, but doesn't really look like it, as Dylan Lagarde has a big slide coming out of turn 4 and 5 there.
And if we go back, And if we go back to Dan Stevens, he's doing the strategy I thought I would have done if I was driving. He's going a little bit longer, but the only problem with this is when he comes in and pits, is he might have fresh tyres, he might take less fuel, and he might jump a couple of people, but he still needs to pass the front guys and be there and on a track that's really hard to pass. So good strategy, but how this is going to play out for him, we're about to see.
Well, it's only 25.5 seconds back to Dean Reddit, who is effectively our race leader. You've got Dylan Lagarde behind Dan Stevens. He is yet to pit. He's 21 seconds down, so watch him drop down the places as he pits. He's supporting a little bit of damage there, so he's going to be running a little bit slower as Dan Stevens, yet again, another lap he stays out. And he is not losing time, actually. He's maintaining that 25-second gap, increasing it ever so slightly. So it'll be interesting to see. Dylan is now in the pits, as I've just heard, as I watch him now go down the timing board. Yes, he is. He's in the pits. So there it goes, Dylan. We've got Dan Stevens still maintaining the race lead. Effectively, Dean Reddit is our race leader till Dan pits. So be interesting to see. And Aiden, just in that rearview mirror shot there, as we get a drive-through penalty for car contact, car 74 on 006. If we can go back to that, if you cockpit view there, to have a look at the rearview mirror, a little bit of a cool design there on Dan Stevens' helmet. Look at that.
Look at that for a livery. That's a nice helmet. Is that his kids?
That is an unreal, and looks like there's a bit of a memorial picture on the front there, so I can't quite see exactly, but might have been a little bit of a tribute helmet. So helmets are a little bit special. I know I'm personally getting one done up by the man himself over at iLiveries. So Shane Clark is on a flyer at the moment. He's just done a fastest lap of a 1:37.26. So he is on the loud pedal trying to make up some time. But obviously helmets to these guys, mate, even though it's in the virtual world, they still get seen. A little bit of a sentimental and personal item. So you want them to stand out a little bit, don't you, mate?
100% you do. 100%. Everyone has their own thing that they want to do, and they have their own sentimental things. So it means something to them, means something to their family, and for them to be able to see it on a broadcast, it means a lot to them. So again, thank you to SimShed Broadcasting to be able to allow them to see that, because that'll mean a lot to their family and a lot to themselves. So, but I don't know, do you want to jump on and get the loud pedal with Daniel Stevens for a lap and sit in there and just see what he's doing before we go to the end of the race?
I reckon, mate, we'll probably go one better. We'll go to the effective race leader, Dan Reddit, because we're not sure when Dan Stevens is going to pit. So we'll jump on board with Dean Reddit, guys. Turn up the volume. Have a listen to the sounds of the V8 Supercar around Montreal. We'll wait till we get into the hairpin before we put it up. But, guys, crank up the volume. Sit back, grab a quick drink, and enjoy the sounds of 650 horsepower around Montreal. How was that, guys? Now, amongst that, crank up the volume lap by Dean Reddit, now our race leader. Dan Stevens has taken his pit stop, Aiden. He's dropped 5 positions from his starting position. He's all the way down in 7th, 13 behind. Now, or should I say 13 seconds behind, or 10 seconds now, behind Mitch Campbell. So he's on the fresher tyres, a whole lot of them. So it's going to be interesting as we see the battle box here for second. Noble, Scholes, Clark, and Nicky G. Mate, I wonder how Dan's going to be going about making his way back up through the pack.
Yeah, it's like I said previously before we went and watched that. It's going to be interesting to see how he does that. He's going to have the tyres, but he's got to be sure not to burn them up. Oh, as we just see
Mr. Noble.
Noble go sideways there. He doesn't want to burn them up too quick. I think he's a little bit too far behind because it's okay for him to catch the cars, but once he gets to them, he's got to be able to make the pass. So
Shane Clark, sorry to cut you off, mate. Shane Clark up on the inside. Does he get a 2-for-1 deal? It's a drag race on between him and Mr. Noble. Down Casino straight. Aiden, sorry.
No, that's right. He just needs to. He might get to the back of them, but he might burn them up and not be able to make the pass. So, just how it's been a good strategy by him, and he's going to put himself in a good position. But it'll be good to see whether he can actually make the pass if he can get to the back of the group.
As we have a little bit of a wiggle from Shane Clark coming into the Wall of Champions, a little bit of nudge on Sam Noble there, push and shove. By the looks of it, he didn't cop a slowdown, so a little bit of damage on the front of Nicky G's car there. He's got the bonnet missing. Don't know how he's still running with these guys, so obviously he's on some form of a miracle and prayed to the car gods up there. So they've given him some speed tonight with no bonnet. He's managed to be able to maintain 3rd position here as Shane Clark drops down behind him. So, but it looks a little bit congested out on tracks. We'll see if we can get a track map up, Aiden. We can see how spread out this field is. Apart from the chicane there and about half of Casino Straight, the boys are very well bunched up, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely are. It's been great racing tonight from the boys. It started off very hectic, and they've done really well to be able to settle into the race, and it's a great race at the front, to be honest, at the moment. So let's see who's willing to take the big risks at the end. But Nicky G's been doing really amazing without that bonnet. And yeah, here we go.
Oh, as it comes up the inside of Sam Noble, has a bit of a look on the Casino Straight. Can't quite get the power down to get up on the inside and have a drag race down there. Tucks in behind the rear spoiler, gets that slipstream into the headwind here. So he's making good uses of it as you start to see him now closing up as they come over the Dodge Bridge, coming into the Wall of Champions. Full commitment over here. Jumping over the curb, out on the wall. Sam Noble really playing millimetre perfect there.
Yeah, and if we look and we're coming into 4 laps to go, Dean Reddit's got this one tied up. I think if he doesn't make a mistake, he's got this one tied up. As we see these guys fighting really hard for the position. So let's see how Dean finishes off this race, but I actually think Dean has got this tied up. He has driven an absolute faultless race tonight, and he deserves to win this one. I think the guys in 2nd and 3rd are going to fight hard for this, so if Dean just keeps his head on his shoulders, he'll win this.
Well, Nicky's got a bit of pace on Sam here, I've just heard. His last lap was 0.2 quicker, even with that little bit of a fumble and battle going out of the hairpin and into the Wall of Champions. So that's a battle to look out for tonight, mate. But back to Dean Reddit, our race leader with 4 laps to go.
Oh, we've got an incident in the background there.
We'll see if we can grab a simsnapshot.com replay of that one. I missed it as I was looking at the timing screen. Nicky G up in the hairpin there. What have we got? JP's brings it up.
And we got Stephen Black.
Stephen Black from E1 Sim Racing.
No, we didn't.
Out
oh, there we go. Just a little bit too much rear brake.
Yeah, a little bit too much. Slid him out onto the grass there, caught the grass, and around he goes. So Nicky G still hounding Sam Noble from 9.5 Sim Sports. As we've got a car into the wall, into the background. Is he stuck?
I hear that's Thomas Foster, Matt.
Thomas Foster is into the wall of champions. Obviously, he's not a champion. It's Sam Noble, big slide through turn 1. Nicky G starts to put on the pressure.
Here it goes. Can he get the power down?
Inside.
Can it? Oh,
bit of a slide coming out of there. Side by side. It's a drag race down to turn 3.
Is he going to hold it, Matt? Is he going to hold it?
He's up.
There he
makes the
goes.
move stick. Awesome move by Nicky G. Up into second place he goes, and he's checking out. That gives an opportunity for Shane Clark to have a look down the inside of Sam Noble. Can he redeem himself? Up the inside he goes. It's a 2-for-1 deal in the matter of 2 corners. Sam Noble
Sam's not going to let it go easily. Sam's not going to let it go easily. Here he goes.
No, it's a drag race again. Side by side they go.
It was really good Sam to open his steering before, but here we go. Here we go. They're fighting hard for this. There's only 3 laps to go.
Oh, no! Gives Shane Clark a touching around. Here goes. That is big. Shane Clark with an absolute pearl of a race. One of his stellars. He gets turned around by Matty Scholes, unfortunately, coming into turn 8.
Let's look at it from the driver's view. From the front of the car, let's have a look. Turned in. Yeah, no room there. Wasn't up to the B pillar.
A little bit of a late dive. Even Sam Noble ran wide coming into turn 8 and 9. The chicane there. Unlucky for Mr. Clark. He is now all the way down in 7th position. So expect a drive-through penalty there.
But how good is this series? Like that racing. That is amazing racing. They're all fighting for it.
Shane Clark with the late dive into pit lane. Oh, my Lord. But you're right, mate. The racing from these guys, these are only up-and-coming stars. We're in the V8-T2 series for the Goodyear Autocare Warana. These guys are the development series. These guys are wanting to get that spot in that Super Series and make the move up, become fast enough to take on the big dogs up there. And they are proving that they can take it to them. They are fighting fierce. They're fighting hard. They're not fighting at 90% race pace. They're giving 900% race pace every single lap. And they're on the limits, pushing these cars, these 650 horsepower V8 supercars, around a track which is not really made for them. We don't race over here in Canada. This is the Australian touring car. It's made for our Aussie tracks, not tracks over in the States. So to throw these around in the virtual world is a big feat, and to do it lap after lap at 900% is something amazing.
Yeah, it takes a lot of commitment to be able to throw it around here. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, you know, change of direction and all that type of stuff, especially with a car which so much weight and has so much weight transfer. That change of direction and throttle control and steering input, to do that, even though it's only a 23-lap race, it does take a lot of concentration. So these guys are doing an absolutely amazing job.
That they are, mate. We've got young Rehan Leonard, the now 11-year-old, as he celebrated his birth yesterday, coming down Casino Straight, under the Dodge Bridge, hard on the brakes, coming into the wall of champions. Little bit squirmy, little bit of correction there by young Rehan. He's not having the best of races, though. He's still inside the top 10, so that's always good for championship points, Aiden, but obviously not a favourite of his track. We're used to seeing him top 5, 3rd position, 2nd position sometimes, so little bit down on the field here, but
if
he's
I
still
can,
having a good race.
If I can just cut you off for a second, Matt, I think we need to go and have a look at Mitch Campbell. He's currently in P5, running out of the 9.5 Sim Sports crew, and he's up 10 spots on his starting position. So it's been an amazing drive by Mitch Campbell at the moment. He's up inside the top 5. He's currently just did a 139.08, and that's on par with Dean's 139.02 in first. And he's quicker than most of the people in front of him. I don't think he's going to be able to catch it, but that's been a really sensational and nice solid drive by Mitch. He's had his head on his shoulders, and we haven't spoken about him all night. Normally when you come into commentary and you don't speak about a driver all night, and then they come up at the end, that means they've done a really, really good drive. So he's backed by a really good team, and he's done an amazing job.
That he has, mate. He's definitely made a few positions. He's now sitting top 5 or 5th position, so making the top 5 for the night, up 10. But if we go on drivers of the night, mate, if we look further down the field, Max Losh down in 15th, started 30th. He is up 15 positions. So drive of the night goes to him as My timing board's playing around. I thought there was a move there by Matty Scholes, but Matty Scholes is into the pit. So Matty Scholes received the drive-through penalty for that one as he drops down the field, bumps a few people up. But Dean Reddit, our race leader, a flawless race by him. He got the moves done. He got the pit right, took on the right amount of fuel, and he has played this one to key as he comes into turn 6 and 7 here. On the last lap for the Goodyear Autocare, we're on a V8-T2 E-Series for the Racecraft Simulations Montreal 100. It's a bit of a flawless race by Dean.
Amazing race by Dean. He's driven this race car absolutely amazing all night. He's been untouchable. He's done his strategy really good. He's driven his race car well, and he deserves this win. 5 or 6 laps ago, I said in the commentary that I thought that he had this tied up if he kept his head on his shoulders, and he's done that. So this is a really good win for Dean. So he should hold his head up high and be very proud of this effort because it's been an amazing drive.
Well, Dean Reddit currently 25th position in our championship standing, so this is going to give him a nice booster as he comes through the wall of champions. Excuse me. To come across the start-finish line to take the race win for round 4 at Montreal for the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series in 4 rounds, Aiden. That is 4 different victorious drivers for us, mate. It is really shaping up to be a good season ahead.
It is 100%, Matt, and I don't think the viewers can expect anything less. I reckon we're going to have a different winner most rounds. Everyone's tailored to different tracks, and the way that this series is set up, it's tailored to allow people to have different opportunities. So it's really great to commentate on. I'd love to see what the viewers think watching it. I can't wait for the next round. Again, this has just got my blood boiling, waiting for the next round. I'm so excited.
Mate, we head off to Sonoma next week, staying in the America trend. Now, while we're just on our cool-down lap, mate, there is a bit of news to come a bit later on in the broadcast, guys, so stick around for that one. Big news happening. It was a six-week stint over in the States. We are now dropping that down to 5. There is a new round being added, so stick around, have a look what's going on. That's big news. It's going to favour a few drivers, Aiden.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear. I can't wait to hear that myself. To be honest, I haven't heard that yet. So it'll be interesting to see what that's going to involve. But what I'm more interested to see, to be honest, as a commentator and as a fan of this series, is to see how the points are going to turn out after tonight, because we had a few different people up the front. Obviously, Nicky G was there in 4th position before we come into it. We got Nash down there, Leonage in 8th. It's going to make a little bit of a shake-up in the points, to be honest. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to put us into the next round.
Yeah, that's right, mate. It's going to be a big shake-up on the championship standing, guys. So we'll have a look at the unofficial results as they pop up on screen later tonight. But for now, mate, Dean Reddit, our race winner from Riot Sim Racing, comes across the control line, our start-finish line. You know what that means, mate? It's burnout time.
It's smoke signals. Let's go. Let's send it.
Crank up the volume, guys. Listen to this. Got a little bit of a glitch there on screen, only a couple, but I reckon he may have run out of fuel there, Aiden. He's stopped dead in the track. But our unofficial results, Dean Reddit, our race winner, followed up closely 2 seconds behind by our mate Nicky G. Sam Noble down in third position there. Ken Stevens, good race by him, down in 4th. Mitch Campbell, the surprise one tonight. Up 10 spots, up in 5th position there. Good race by him. Kai Turner in 6th. Tony Gaffer in 7th. The 11-year-old Rehan Leonage down in 8th. Another good race by him. He's still in the top 10. Good for championship points. Jonathan Bent, our hot lapper, started way down the field, all the way down in 12 position. So what's that? 27th position, I'm going to say. Or maybe even 23rd, sorry, 21st. If my maths serve me correct, my mind's not working. He's had an awesome race, up in 9th position. David Nash down in 10th, rounding out our top 10. We got Matty Scholes, suffered a drive-through penalty after that incident with Shane Clark there. He's down in 11th. Aaron Racanello down in 12th. Shane Clark, unfortunately, was having a stellar race, qualified pole. Unfortunate incident there with Matty Scholes, puts him all the way down in 13th. Darryl Hockey, last round's race winner, down in 14th. Max Blosh, the driver of the night, up 15 positions. Colin Bruns, Stephen Martin, Danny Vassell down in 18th. Philip Dalton, Peter Latham rounding out the top 20. We've got Aaron Hayden, Trent McCarthy, Damien Cairns, Andrew Johnson from E1 Sim Racing, and Dylan Lagarde from E1 Sim Racing in 24th and 25th. Robert Broad, Dean Alessi, Dylan Pereira, unfortunate for the rookie, mate. Poor start, just got caught up, wrong moment. Puts him all the way down in 28th position. Craig Casper down in 29th. Todd Martin rounds out your top 30 there. We've got Robbie Bradbury, Thomas Foster after he was in the wall with champions. Stephen Black from E1 Sim Racing as well. He's down in 33 positions, one lap down. Luke Georgeson as well. He's rounding out our field. So, mate, it was an action-packed night for the Racecraft Simulations Montreal 100. What were your thoughts?
Absolutely amazing race. I didn't expect anything less. It's what we've been used to in the first couple of rounds, and we've got a fourth different winner again. So didn't expect anything different. It's just been amazing, to be honest. The racing that these guys produce each week is amazing. So I cannot wait for next week.
As we head over to Sonoma, staying in the States. Bit of a tricky track over there, mate. So we'll chat with the boys as they've just jumped up into the commentary booth. Mate, we've got to start. We'll start off from the bottom of the podium here. We'll work our way up. Now, believe it was my memory's serving me absolutely horrible tonight. Aiden, help me out here. It's been a long day.
Nicky G, I think.
Nicky G, down in third position.
That's actually me, Sam.
Oh, sorry, Sam.
No, that's right. Nicky got it
wrong.
Nicky got it. Sorry.
We were really just reading it too. So, no, it's been a long day in the office over here. But Mr. Noble from 9-5 Sim Sports, mate, superb race. What did you think?
Yeah, that was pretty hectic. I had a pretty interesting qualifying with my wife not being home and my 2-year-old smacking me the whole time I was driving. So I only did about 10 laps, and I've hardly practiced this week, so I can't believe I'm third. I think it was just adrenaline and a bit of anger at the wife, so I'm super stoked to be third.
Well, we'll keep going, Aiden.
Yeah, Sam, Aiden here, mate. We've spoken on socials a little bit this week and congratulated you on how good you've been driving. That was amazing. You come into the round on top in points. Did that get into your head at all? Did you think that you need to have a good result to keep up there, or you were just trying to circulate?
Yeah, I'm just trying to just keep it consistent. I haven't been able to do much practice recently with some stuff happening at work, so my goal is just to stay up the top and do some work with Sean McNamara to work on my driving a bit. Just because I'm pretty new to this, but I can't believe I'm first. Like, my wife asked me where my goal was on the first race, and it wasn't to finish last. So I'm stoked.
And for the viewers out there, Sam, sorry, Matt, to just jump in again. Just explain a little bit about Macca and 9-5 Sim Sports and what they do and how they help you, and let the viewers know what they're about and what they're doing.
Yeah, Macca approached me a few weeks ago and just saw my first 2 races, and I knew Sean from when I raced go-karts in Ipswich 11 years ago, and yeah, he just jumped on and invited me to join the team, and yeah, it's great. I had the guys in my ear tonight, telling me what to do and helping me with brake bias, and yeah, it's a big help, and Sean's helping me with my driving. Just I seem to be blowing up my front tyres, so I'm working on that, and Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's been a great support.
Well, that's good, mate. It's funny, I know Macca from karting as well. I raced at Ipswich as well, and I was probably racing the same time you did. But anyway, it's not about me. It's about you tonight. Great drive, and look forward to next week, mate. I hope you do a great job next week.
Thanks, guys. Awesome job too.
Sam, we'll come back to you, mate. We'll head to our second place finisher, our race control steward for the Nationwide Tracking Systems V8 Super Series, Nicky G. Congratulations, mate, on second place.
Thank you. It was good race. Yeah, a lot happening. Made a few mistakes with the lack of practice, but definitely a good finishing positions considering I started in P8. But yeah, no, it was an awesome race. A lot of fun.
Mate, I'm sure you would have learnt from the boys last night after watching where to make mistakes and where not to make mistakes, I bet.
Yeah, and I seem to make the mistakes all there.
That's always the case, isn't it? Mate, obviously you ran a stellar race. You were missing your bonnet for most of the end of the race there, and still managed to have the pace. How was the car?
Yeah, I had a feeling something might have been missing after that contact, after the bit of a incident at the chicane. But the car seemed like perfectly great. I couldn't feel any issues. There was no like added understeer or anything. Like the car just seemed to handle well. I seemed to be coming on a bit later in the stint, so I'm not sure. The car felt great.
I didn't got anything to add, mate.
No, just a good drive, Nick. Absolutely good drive. You're usually the one that we're up. We've now nicknamed you Nicky G. So great drive, mate. We did see the bonnet off there, and it was good for you to be able to circulate and be able to get the result you done, mate. So great drive.
Awesome, thank you.
Now, the reason why we nicknamed you Nicky G is it baffles me how to pronounce your last name, mate. We've been told we call you Geary, but we've stuck with Nicky G. How do you pronounce it, mate?
Yeah, I can confirm it is Geary.
Oh, there we go. It is
Oh,
Geary.
well, I've got it wrong the last 3 weeks, so thanks
We've all got it wrong.
Thanks for clearing that up, Nick.
All good. It's she's a bit of a tricky one.
Yes, well, I thought it was Gerrit or something like that, but it's actually Geary. So, well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. For everybody at home, we've now finally got to the bottom of the pot here. Finally worked out Nicky G's last name. So we've got 2 nicknames for him now. But Nick, we'll come back to you, mate. On to the race winner, though. He drove an absolute stellar race all night. Ran the long one. Ran the fuel right down, stopped, only had a 14-second pit stop, saved nearly 3 seconds over the boys who pitted before him. Dean Reddit, mate, congratulations on the win. By the looks of it, you ran out of fuel on your victory burn out there.
Cheers, guys. Yeah, it was tight. I was just telling the lads, I think I crossed the line there on the in-lap with 0.2 of a lap, or I think it was about half a litre or 0.4 of a litre.
Just enough to get a couple loops, you know?
Yeah. I wasn't planning to go that short, that's for sure. I sort of, unlike the other two who just told me that they didn't do any practice this week, which makes me feel terrible because I did about, 60 or 70 laps. I thought I had it worked out to a T, and that didn't eventuate in the race. So I'm very relieved because even crossing the last lap, I wasn't fully sure if I'd make it home.
You ran the long stint on that one, pitted really, really late. Obviously, tyres were starting to come down, and you obviously needed fuel. Were you running that thing to the smell of an oily rag, or did you have maybe a litre or 2 left in the tank spare?
No, I thought lap 11, because Nick and Sam were both pretty racy, and they got by me early in the race, and I sort of thought I'm not going to push them. I'm gonna do some fuel saving early, and I just felt lap 11 out of 23, I was still going to be on the short side of the stints, but the guys went a lap earlier. There was a bit of a mess in front of me, so I thought, nah, I'm going for another lap rather than trying to get into the pit lane with the sort of gaggle of cars right in front.
Nah, that's it, mate. Obviously, Montreal, you've obviously done some practice around here, unlike Nick and Sam, who have got complete bugger all around here, which really didn't show because both those boys ran an absolute stellar race themselves. They really applied the pressure onto everybody. They were battling it was almost a battle for the top 6 at one stage. So awesome battling there at the front of the field, mate. A favourite of yours, Montreal, or?
It's become one, yeah. It wasn't initially, but the last sort of couple of times we visited here, it sort of caught me by surprise that I've done all right. I've sort of worked my way up the field, and I think I'm probably not, with a couple of the guys in the top 5 have probably got me, single lap wise. The longest stints and the tyre saving is probably where my strengths are. So I try and calculate it, and this is one of those races where that was really important. So it sort of played into my ballpark a bit.
Aiden, you got anything to add, mate?
No, same as I said earlier to Sam and Nick. Just an amazing race, Dean. Great job, great strategy, great car control, and it was great to commentate on it. I had you winning the race from probably 7 laps to go. I could see what was going to happen, but it was a really great race from you, and it just shows sometimes it's not about absolute one-lap pace, exactly what you just mentioned in your comments earlier to Matt. It's about controlling the race and to being able to convert to a race win. So really good, mate. Hold your head up high, and it was really good to see you on the top step of the podium.
Thanks, Aiden.
Now, Aiden, talk of the race. We talked at the start of the race who our driver of the night would be. None of them actually came through.
Mine's in the podium.
Well, yours is in the podium, but is yours on first place?
No, it's not. Is yours?
Yeah, no, neither is mine. Mine unfortunately crashed out at the start of the race due to an unfortunate incident. So, unfortunately,
does that put me one up to next week? Does that put me one up to next week, mate?
I'll give you half a point, mate.
Yeah, right. No worries.
You'll have to give Sam the pep talk next week, I reckon. Just tell him to take out first place, I think. Now, guys, Aiden, Dean, Nick, Sam. Obviously staying in America, looking into next week, staying in America and heading off to Sonoma. Now, a track that you guys are familiar with, not so familiar with, still yet to purchase maybe. I know a few of you guys from last night are still yet to purchase Sonoma from the SuperSeries. So what's the go with that?
Yeah, I still haven't purchased it yet, so I've got a bit of practice to do next week and this week.
Yep. Nick, what about yourself, mate?
I've got the track. Done a couple laps on iRacing, but I have done a few on other platforms. So I have a little bit of experience. Just got to work out how to drive a V8 supercar around there.
So you might be one to look out for next week. Is that right?
I'm hoping so.
And Dean, what about yourself?
Sorry to cut you off. You go, guys.
I was just going to say, I think I brought, this is one of those things with iRacing, I think I brought the track 12 months ago and I've never turned a lap on it.
Well, what makes this one interesting, guys, is it's not just an ordinary sprint round. We have a super sprint round coming up for the boys in the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series around Sonoma. So super sprint, boys, that means reverse grid racing for the second one. A favourite of yours? And not so favourite of yours. I know I haven't raced a reverse grid yet, and it frightens the absolute hell out of me. So give us your thoughts, and we'll even bring it over to Aiden to see what his thoughts are on the whole reverse grid racing.
Oh, Matt, I can't add anything else. You've just really nailed it on the head, to be honest. It'd frighten the hell out of me too. If I was up the front and then I had to start at the back, But I think it's going to be all about, if you're at the front in the first one, just keep your nose clean and get as far as front as you can in the second one. But yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like throwing that bat up at the start of a cricket game where they go heads or tails and know where you're going to end up because you can't control what other people are doing. So it's going to be very interesting, going to create some amazing content.
Dean, what are your thoughts, mate, on the whole reverse grid for the super sprint?
I like it. I one of the best parts about sort of the community almost that we got here is a lot of the different teams, and I think reverse grid races is really good for the guys that might mid pack or lower. They get a chance to get up the front, get on the broadcast. I think from just from a driver's point of view, I think it can as long as you're patient, you can really get some benefit out of it if there's some other drivers around you in the championship that aren't that patient trying to force their way through. So I'm a bit of a Bradbury type person. Like I try and let the race come to me. So,
well, you definitely did a Bradbury tonight, mate. You definitely let the race come to you, and you took out the race win. Sam, reverse grids, mate, and the super sprint. What's your whole thoughts on it, mate?
Should be good fun. I've never done one before, but it'd be good to practice passing and try and keep it clean. I think I'm probably still on top of the championship, so still a long way to go, but just try and keep it clean and finish as high as I can.
Geary, what about yourself, mate?
They can be absolute carnage, but then they can be awesome too. It'll definitely be good to watch, that's for sure, watching the fast guys come through. But yeah, you just got to be patient and take it easy and let it come to you, really.
Well, that's it, mate. You've always got to let it come to you, but more onto the future of Arthur Sonoma. It was meant to be a 6-week stint over in the States. Now, if you have a look on the screen, boys and girls all around the world, at home and in the commentary booth tonight, if you go down to round 9, it's changed. It was originally Lime Park. There was a vote that was had, and it's now changed. So we are flying all the way back down under, down to Melbourne, Victoria, down onto the coast, across the bridge, and going to the famous Phillip Island. A personal favourite of mine. Never commentated there, so can't really say that I enjoy commentating around there because I've never done it, but I do love driving around there. So a favourite for some, not so much of a favourite for many, for others. So that's a bit of a shake-up in the round. Boys, you looking forward to it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I think yeah, more so than
well, that's 3 from 3, Aiden. So those boys are pumped. They're going to be the ones to look out for, I reckon.
Who wouldn't want to come back and race down under, mate? Like, of course, it's going to be their favourite. They'll be down here amongst all what they're used to doing. We've all done a lot of laps around Phillip Island, so that's going to be a really good round. I can't wait for that one.
Mate, I'm looking forward to it. It's good to come back down under. There's not many Australian circuits on the iRacing server in the virtual world. So it's going to be good to come back down under, especially to my home track as well. So looking forward to that. It's only about 50 minutes down the road for me. So I'm one of the lucky ones that gets to go down there and watch the MotoGP, watch the V8 supercars, the superbikes even, and even do a couple hot laps in a V8 supercar. So, I'm one of the lucky ones out of the bunch, but it's not about me tonight. It's about the boys in the commentary booth. And we'll bring up the championship points to see the big shake-up that has happened tonight with everything that goes on. Sam Noble's obviously finished up in 3rd place. So that means he is still out on top in the lead. Now stretched it out to 15 points. So he's out on 570 ahead of Nicky G, who's bumped up with 555. Matty Scholes down in 3rd place with 551. Daryl Hockey, last week's race winner, down in 4th position, 549 points. Dan Stevens, bit of an unfortunate race for him. He went to try and do the massive overcut and pit late, very late, should I say, as well. And he's now down in 5th position with 544 points. Kai Turner with 540. David Nash, not a great night for him, mate. So down in 7th with 536. Jonathan Ben, our hot lapper, up in 8th position, moved up a spot with 522 points. Tony Gaffer with 520, and the young Rehan Leonage rounding out the top 10 there with 516 points as we let the rest of the the points scroll through there for everybody at home. We've got Trent McCarthy, Dean Alessi, Shane Clark, Aaron Raccanello, Max Losh with the drive of the night tonight, up 15 positions. Aaron Hayden, Damien Cairns, Peter Latham, Robbie Bradbury. Wonder if he can do a Bradbury at some point this throughout this season and get the unexpected victory. Robert Braw in the top 20 there. As we flick on through, we've got Dean Reddit. He's jumped up a few spots. He's now up into 21st position with 414 points. Craig Caspar, Luke Georgeson, Thomas Foster, Danny Vassal, Paul Gerlin, Colin Bruns, Philip Dalton, Kyle Booth, Andrew Johnson in 30th position down there. Then we've got Dylan Lagarde, Gavin Sadler, Stephen Black, Peter Antoniadis. Didn't see him tonight, Aiden, so I wonder what happened to Mr. Antoniadis, because he had a fairly decent race last week. I just got word in my ear then from JP. What was that, mate? Oh, so unfortunately he's had to pull the pin. Maybe a little bit of an emergency at home that he has to attend to, or work commitments, but he's actually had to pull the pin. So
that's very unfortunate for Peter. He's been going really well, so that's very
unfortunate. And I've just got his name correct finally after 4 weeks.
I know.
4 rounds of racing. Finally got the last name correct, and he had to unfortunately pull out of the season. So unfortunate for you, Pete. All the best with whatever is happening outside of the virtual world there, mate. Boys, we've still got a few minutes to wrap up talking. Obviously, Montreal, it's a tricky track. There's not much elevation change, but the chicanes, you've got turn 1, 2, the really tight ones, and you've got 3 and 4. You sort of throw the car half over the curb and pray to God that it sticks and you don't get the off track. Then you've got 5 and 6, or should I say 6 and 7. That's a bit of a slower one, and then all the way down into turn 8 and 9, the first lot of the tricky chicanes, I should say. Down to the hairpin, up Casino Straight, and then out onto the Wall of Champions, for probably one of the most committed sends, I reckon, in the V8 supercars over those curbs into the Wall of Champion. They're getting right out onto the wall, and I noticed, Sam, you were really picking it millimetre by millimetre there, mate.
Yeah, that was probably the only chicane I could get right. I was struggling a bit with the chicane, the 2 chicanes before the hairpin. But the World of Champions was good fun. But the others, not so fun.
And while we've got you there, mate, how did you find the track overall? We'll come to Nick and Dean in a second with that. How did you find Montreal overall, really, on throughout the race? Obviously, early morning start, track temp was up there. Obviously, a lot of shadow over the track. Headlights are in the mirrors. They're reflecting off walls. Does it make it hard out on track?
No, it was good. The track felt good. I did a race here in official, probably end of last year, and it was really slippery. I got smoked, and I just thought maybe it was just how the track was. But with this setup and track temperatures around 27, it was a lot easier to drive than then. So it was good. I enjoyed it.
Dan from Coghlan Engineering has really set these cars up. I actually did a couple laps on the Goodyear Autocare Warana setup throughout the week, just to get the feel for Montreal. It's been about 6 months since I jumped in the sim, and last one was for Montreal, but unfortunately couldn't race. So used that set, and he absolutely nailed with how stable the car was. Nick, mate, how did you find the setup in the car?
The setup was good. With the track temp and everything, the car felt really nice to drive. It could really rode the curbs. If you hit them wrong, it spat you. But if you nailed it, it really rode the curbs really nice. It's definitely a good setup.
Dean, how did you find obviously track temp, mate, and tyre life? Obviously Montreal, it really sort of chews the tyres up. You're really labouring them a lot. There's a couple corners where you're really loading the car up, especially coming in through turn 5 there around the long right-hander, as you're about to see on screen here at home, folks. How did you find the tyre life around here?
Yeah, I think you couldn't afford to have sort of a big sideways moment or a big the big lock-up moment still, even though it was cooler track temps. I think because that just accelerated the drop-off. It was definitely, for setup-wise, it was definitely the most comfortable it's been all year. It wasn't as much sort of understeer on the hot track like we've had elsewhere. But I think, yeah, if you didn't try and set too many consecutive laps on the limit, you could extend your tyre life quite well. But it was easy with a couple of mistakes for it to fry them.
Aiden, it's interesting the boys say that. They say they weren't pushing hard. Do you just want to give them what it looked like from the commentary booth? Tell them what it looked like from the commentary booth.
Yeah, 100%. I know you say you weren't pushing hard, but from a commentary booth, early on that race, everyone was pushing really hard, trying to get track position. I think after probably about 7 laps, once all the incident happened, you guys all calmed down. I did say in commentary, and when you watch it back, I was really surprised that you just didn't get in line and just sort of follow each other for a minute and just go. Everyone was pushing really hard early and actually ruined a couple of other people's races. So, yeah, it's interesting to see you drivers say that, you know, you weren't driving hard or doing whatever, but from a commentary side or from a viewer side, it was definitely on early. People were trying to make those positions early. So it's really interesting to see the other side of the table, because at the end of the day, we're not in the cockpit and we're not driving the car, so we don't know. We can sit there and we can look, but we don't know.
And obviously, it's a tough track to get around here, Aiden. As we see on screen, obviously Shane Clark there in the 888 just had his spin there during the race as we watch it back on the replay there. Obviously, it's track position's key around here, isn't it, boys?
Yeah, you can definitely, with track position, you can definitely manage it a bit better, or place your car into some of those hard braking points well enough. And even I think I tried to do it to Nicholas, and he still threaded the needle up the inside at the hairpin. I thought I moved across enough, but yeah, I need more monitors just to make sure I can see the edge of the road. He
Might have to go VR, mate.
Yeah, he snuck it up real well. I thought that was a great move, but yeah, with the track position, in I think with the second half of my stint, I was able to I was just keeping an eye on the guys behind and managing that distance, and that definitely helped with tyres.
Well,
sorry to cut you off, guys. Yeah, do you want to just start wrapping it up with a few of your sponsor shout-outs? Sam, great drive in third tonight. Do you want to thank anyone tonight?
Yeah, thanks, Aidan. Yeah, luckily, Chad sent me a list of the sponsors. I'd like to thank our awesome sponsors: SRT Australia, Racecraft Simulations, Racing Ears Custom Ear Protection, RSW Graphics, AD 3D Printing Services, and Cutting Edge Track. And I'd like to big thanks to Simon, who was here tonight, and Sean for his help and bringing me in, and you guys you do an awesome job at this. It's I'm new to sim racing, and I love watching the broadcasts. So, well done to you guys and JP.
No, well done to you, mate.
Nicky G, mate, our second place sitter. Dean will come to you after him. Nick, who would you like to thank, mate? Anyone special?
I just want to thank the Goodyear Autocare Warana for the car sponsorship. Awesome being in the JP SimShed team. Also like to thank the SimShed Broadcasting, Nationwide Tracking Systems, Dragon RC, DSL Welding Services, Abruzzi Australia, VR Covers, Cars for Hope, Racing with Autism Australia, and Blue Stampede Labour Hire. They do an awesome job for the team, and love representing them.
Well said, mate. Well said. And off to our race winner, Dean Reddit, mate. We'll give you the floor for a quick shout out to your sponsors, mate. You have it.
Cheers, guys. Yeah, just a big thanks to the boys at Riot. It's been a bit of a tough year for us. We've lost a few, and we've been really fortunate to pick up David Nash and Matty Skulls have been awesome in this series so far. We, despite having some on the car for now, we actually don't have any sponsors. And we're getting paints made up, so we're open. But just a big thanks to you guys and the broadcast putting in the effort. And Maddie, I know you're back up after a Tuesday night, so really appreciate you guys. Excellent quality broadcast. JP's just immense when you got someone driving the bus like he does. You can only follow, and I think it sucks people in. So it definitely sucked me in, and I'm looking forward to sticking around for a while and trying to help out where I can.
Mate, that's what we love to hear, and you're right. SimShed Broadcasting, guys, they not only bring you the nationwide tracking systems V8 SuperSeries, they bring you what you see tonight, the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series. Then, Thursday night from 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, we have the ANSCAR Abruzzi Cup. Fired up with the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club on Friday night for a bit of Freaky Friday racing and two-up racing from 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So make sure to tune into SimShed Broadcasting. Check out what's happening with the ANSCAR Abruzzi Cup and the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. And I believe there's a little bit of IndyCar. Zach was mentioning last night in the broadcast, a little bit of IndyCar as well happening. So make sure to tune in. But look, Aiden, big thanks to our sponsors. We can't do it without them. We've got Goodyear Autocare. We're on for our main sponsor. We've got Racecraft Simulators for the Montreal 100 with our round sponsor of the Hybrid Racing Simulators. We've also got the SimSnapshot.com replay, boys. We've got track cams for Gourmet for all the camera angles that you guys are seeing for these amazing races. There's plenty of others, mate, that I forgot, so I reckon you can follow us up and help me out on that one.
Yeah, so Abruzzi Raceware, obviously NTS tracking systems, track cams are amazing that allowed us to broadcast this stuff. SimShed Broadcasting course, as you mentioned, SDK Gaming, Coghlan Engineering, all the above. So without these guys, we cannot go racing. So it's amazing for these guys to be able to be on board. And like we said earlier, we're always looking for sponsors, always looking for people to be able to help this stuff. It's a really good stream and really good network to be able to look at some sim racing. And to be honest, these guys are some of the best sim racers in Australia. Yes, it's the T2 series, but they're making their way up into the second series, and I hope we're creating a good broadcast for you guys. JP SimShed creates the broadcast, but we just commentate on it. So I hope we're creating good content, and feel free to comment, and we can't wait to keep commenting further into the series.
That's it, guys at home. Give us your feedback. We'd love to hear it. But for now, mate, I just want to say a huge thank you to JP for all the work he does. I'm going to say it week in, week out. Thank you so much to the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, JP Courier, for all the effort he puts in behind the scenes to bring you not only the nationwide tracking systems V8 Super Series on Tuesday nights from 7:30 Australian Eastern Time, but also the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8 T2 E-Series on Wednesday nights from 7:30. Aiden?
And we can't forget the ANSCAR Abruzzi Cup stuff.
Yes, that's it.
That, which I run in, so hopefully I can bring a podium for my own team.
The Abruzzi Cup. And you're racing that tomorrow, aren't you?
I am tomorrow night, and I have to have a little bit of a sneaky plug with my new team, Mark 1 Esports. So I have to have a sneaky plug there. So we'll go into tomorrow night, and he broadcasts it. But it's good. What he broadcasts and what he does for everyone to be able to look at this stuff is amazing, regardless of what everyone runs.
Well, guys, make sure you head over tomorrow night. That starts at 8 p.m. Australian Daylight Time, Eastern Daylight Time, to check out our commentator, Aiden Schultz, in the ANS Cup cars. But for now, guys, on behalf of JP, Aiden Schultz, the boys on the podium, Dean Reddit, Nicholas Geary, I almost said it again, Nicholas Geary or Nicky G, Sam Noble, I'm Matt Davis. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.